Welcome to section 19, and in this section we're going to take a look at SignalR to provide some real-time functionality to our application. And the learning goals for this section is to take a look at what SignalR is, if you've never come across this before. We'll take a look at SignalR transports. How does the client communicate with the server and vice versa with this real-time communication? And also we'll take a look at the SignalR client package in this section, as SignalR requires two sides to this communication. It does require a client and it does require a server. So what is SignalR? Well, it adds real-time functionality or real-time web functionality to apps. And the connected clients, any clients that connect to SignalR, receive content instantly. Now, we've been using our API to receive content from our API, and our clients do not maintain a connection with our API. Anytime they want to get updated data, they specifically have to make a request to go and get that data, and then it's sent back to the client, and then our connection is abandoned in the case of our current situation. But in the case of SignalR, our clients maintain a persistent connection to our server. And SignalR is ideal for chat applications, things like a dashboard where you want things to update in real time, or any kind of monitoring application which would also require a real-time update rather than polling the server to see if something's changed. Now, SignalR has got the option to use three different types of transports. It can use WebSockets, server-sent events, or long polling. Now, WebSockets, if both the server and the browser indicate they support WebSocket, then WebSockets is the only transport that establishes a true, persistent, two-way connection between the client and server. If WebSockets is supported on both sides, then WebSockets is what's going to be used. If WebSockets is not available, then there's a couple of fallback types of connections available. There's server-sent events, also sometimes known as event source, which is basically every browser supports this apart from our friend Internet Explorer. And WebSockets, by the way, is supported in all browsers as long as it's including Internet Explorer, as long as it's version 10 or newer. And if it doesn't support either WebSockets or server-sent events, and we're really looking at Internet Explorer 9 and below here, then it falls back to long polling, which does not create a persistent connection, but instead polls the server with a request that stays open until the server responds, at which point the connection closes and a new connection is requested immediately. And this is the worst one because it introduces latency while the connection resets. But if we take a look at Can I Use, then you can see the support for WebSockets across all modern browsers. So unless you're supporting clients with Internet Explorer version 6 to 9, then this should not be a problem. So SignalR uses the concept of a SignalR hub, and this provides us with two objects that we can use to manage our clients and our connection to SignalR. We get a context object, and this provides us with the client's connection ID. Every time a client connects, even if it's the same user from a different browser, they'll be given a new connection ID. Also within the context, we can get access to the user identifier. If the user's authenticating with a token, then we can get the user ID from that token just by using user identifier. We've also got access to the user object, which is the claims principal. We've used that before to get the client's claims from their token. And we can also get access to the HTTP context, and this can give us access to things like query strings that we use to make the connection over WebSockets to the hub. Also, we have access to a client's object, and this gives us access to the client themselves, and we can access the client, what group the client's connected to, the caller, the user that actually sent the request to the server or connected to the hub connection, and others, everybody except the caller. Now, these different groups are effectively a collection of users that we can send objects or notifications to when we want to respond to some kind of event that's happening. In our case, if a user has sent up a comment to the SignalR hub, then everybody in that group, and our groups are going to be based on our activity IDs, is going to receive that comment. Also, when a client connects to our SignalR hub, then they're going to want to receive all of the comments for that particular activity, and in that case we would just send those comments to the caller. Anybody else who is connected will already have the comments because they would also receive the comments at that time. So in summary, our hub allows connected clients to call methods on the server. So there's two sides to this. There's a client-side SignalR package that we're going to install, and we have access to SignalR on a server because we're in the context of a .NET application. And we can use SignalR hubs to send notifications to the connected clients. And of course, we're going to see all of this in action. So just a very brief overview if you've not got the idea yet. A client will send a comment to the server, and the server will send back all of the connected clients the comment from the server. So let's take a look at a before and after of what we're going to be achieving here. So before we implement our comments on our activities, then currently all we have is just a simple placeholder, and it doesn't matter if we type in here or not, nothing is going to happen. And after we finish this section, then we'll have our comments enabled, and we'll be able to enter a comment, and this will not only be sent to the current user that's connected to this activity, but anybody else that's connected to this activity in the world if our application was actually published, which it isn't yet. But the principle's the same, and anybody that's viewing this activity at the same time as Bob, then they'll also receive that comment as well without the need for a page refresh. So let's get on with building this.